So this story comes from NBC News. Facebook turned over chat messages between mother and daughter, now charged over abortion. The company was served with a warrant for the messages, which experts worry could become common. So that's kind of the story here. Like the daughter was messaging mom about, her plans to have an abortion. She got an abortion using medication. She got a medication abortion. The state that she's in has a law that says you can't have an abortion after, I think, 20 weeks.
It was 22.
Okay, 22 weeks?
No, it was after 20. She was 22.
Okay, yeah. So the state law was 20 and she was like at 22. So she...
Again, we don't know if that's true either.
Right. Yeah.
Because when we talked to Jessica, she's like, they just go by a number. They don't know.
Right. Yeah. This is... But the heart and soul of this story is that this kind of egregious, invasive privacy bullshit is now part of our life. That's what this ruling, that's what the Dobbs ruling did, right? Is it said you don't have a right to privacy.
Yeah.
So you're messaging your fucking mother and saying, hey, mom, I'm fucking thinking of making this fucking medical decision and I want to talk about it with my mom. And now that fucking personal conversation with your fucking mom can be used against you.
It's crazy because, the right is all about privacy when it comes to Trump's place.
Fucking right, yeah.
Right? Mar-a-Lago, all about privacy there, right? All about privacy. But when it comes to this, no, we should invade your privacy. We should invade your privacy. We should invade your privacy. And this is like you said, a personal medical decision. This, you're basically saying we want to force young teenagers to have children. We want more teen pregnancies.
Absolutely.
We want more teen pregnancies in America. That's what we want.
Yep.
And,
we want more people to have kids they don't want to have.
Do you know anybody who had like kids as an early teen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I knew, so there was a girl in my high school, really bright girl. And she had a kid while she was in high school. Like she literally had a kid. Like she was pregnant in high school, had a kid in high school. I don't think she ever went on to get a degree or anything like that. She just became a mom, but she was like a really bright girl. I remember, knowing her and being on her, she was in my friend's circle. She wasn't a close friend, but she was in my friend's circle. She was always very sweet, but she got pregnant in high school. If we make it harder for women to get abortions, and especially for young kids at this point, get abortions, you're going to see more and more and more. It's going to be brain drain on women. It's going to be brain drain because they're the ones who bear the responsibility for this. And very often it's not about, this fight of you're killing a baby or whatever.
No.
Very often the decision is made, and we're talking way often, when 90% of the time it's made before it's really even a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is like we've talked about this before, but I mean, the Ohio case is a terrific example. Here you have, it is not a bug in the system. It is a feature. It is intentional that the system is intended to turn people into mothers against their will.
You're right.
That is exactly so. And it doesn't matter to the right whether those people in question are 10 years old or 40 years old. They do not give a shit. What they want is more women to be burdened with children. And they don't want, the men aren't burdened. They want more women to be burdened with children that they do not want. There's nothing else. There's no other way to read that conversation. These are, in every case where somebody seeks an abortion, that is a woman who wants an abortion. That means a woman who does not want to have that child.
Yeah.
In every case, that's literally, so the state is intervening and saying, no, fuck that.
No.
That is not your call.
Yeah.
Your body you do not have autonomy over your own body. And the intent of that, I think, is to pull women out of competition with men. I know I've come to that, but I just cannot understand how it could be anything else. I cannot.
And it's not just a war on women. We talked about it early when this happened, but it's a class war too.
Oh, fucking right it is. Yep.
This is something that way more often people that are living in poverty are going to have children that they didn't want because they can't make it that 800 miles across the state line or whatever it is, 2 state lines, 3 state lines, 4 state lines they've got to go across. They can't just travel on a whim for work.
Right.
To just up and leave for a couple days. They can't do it. Their jobs don't allow it. They don't have the funds. They don't have the resources.
They don't have the childcare, the family support.
When you are somebody who's fucking is wealthy, or even if you're just middle class, this is burdensome and it's annoying, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, right.
But when you're somebody who has no means, it is sentencing you to have a child because you had sex.
Yep. Yeah. The entirety of the burden of responsibility from a sexual act is borne only by one partner in that sexual activity. It is a grotesquerie. It just is. I think back, and I know this is like a weird analogy, but I remember when I was like 21, 22, and I was broke as fuck, and I had my first apartment, and like I had this car, and the alternator went out on the car. And I got the alternator fixed. They put a bad alternator in it. They put like a not OEM alternator in it, and it failed again a second time, and they wouldn't cover it. It was like kind of a shady shop, and like got towed to the same shop. And I was like, hey, I was just here like 2 weeks ago. And they're like, yeah, bad parts is bad parts. And I'm like 22, I don't know anything. And my car just sat in their lot. And I didn't have the money to get my car back from, and it was like $400. And so I was like, well, fuck. And for months, I was down to one, we were down to one car. For months, I did not have access to my car until I could scrape together the $400 or $500. It's very easy for many, many people to look at an expense of just a few $100s, and that few $100s can take you months or longer if you can even get it. Look at like Modest Needs. Modest Needs, their entire business model as a charity is built around giving away about $700 to pull people from the brink of poverty. And you look at that and you say, man, we are going to make it that much harder for this specific class of women to have access to their own bodily autonomy. That is what we are going to do with this. And like, we're going to invade your Facebook messages.
And it's going to, the other problem too is it's going to now having a kid isn't cheap.
No,
and you're already in poverty.
Yep.
So now what?
Yep.
You'll never, ever climb out. It's going to be hard. It's exponentially harder the more children you have.
Yep.
And you're basically forcing those people to have kids in a forced birth scenario when they could, and way more often, we're talking way more often than not, it would have been nothing but a day after pill or something.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's, you can have a medical, just a pill abortion up to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Up to 12 weeks. But like in these states where they have restricted access to abortion, and then, in this case of this story here, where they're logging into your fucking, or subpoenaing your fucking private messages between you and your parent, we're living in a different world than we had before, right? So we're living in a world where a lot of our communication is not verbal. It's not just like if I had a conversation just verbally with my dad would just lie about it, right? He could just be like, yeah, I didn't talk to Tom about that. I just didn't talk to Tom about that. But now so much of our communication is written. There's a record of so much of it. And we are going to get into this fucking spy versus spy espionage level shit where it's like, oh, fuck, I'm going to talk about, an abortion. I better not fucking text message it. I better not fucking Messenger or Signal or Telegram or Instagram or fucking whatever, because all that shit could be subpoenaed. All the regular normal ways that humans now communicate with one another, all that shit you got to put on the back burner. Whoa. People are going to get fucking burner phones to get abortions, man.
Yeah, man. The way, I guess, to prevent this from happening is anything that you don't want to keep, you have to do there's a private setting on Facebook Messenger that basically makes it so it like deletes it after you read it or whatever.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there is a way to do it. I'm not quite sure. You can look it up, but there is a way. It's so you can cheat on your spouse. I mean, like, let's be honest. That's what it's for. It's made for that. But it's really like you can delete it.
I can't believe this.
But like there is a way to do it. So, I don't think you should throw it away because it is end-to-end encrypted. Supposedly they can't read it, but they can give it to them.
Right.
Right. And so you can take
So does Facebook itself delete it?
I think I don't know that. I don't know that
Because I wonder if they would still
They did
comply
mention
with
it
the
in this
subpoena.
article.
Yeah,
They did mention
right.
it in this article. They mentioned that it can be lost or can be pulled out if you delete it or whatever. But delete it like in this special way, which is
Right.
like make this a secret or whatever. And it just goes away supposedly. But I don't think it ever goes away. I don't think anything ever goes away.
Right.
So that'll be really interesting to see when that comes up, right? If Facebook is like, yeah, we said that, but we really didn't mean it.
Yeah.
And who knows?
Right. I wonder. I am always dubious of the idea
Sure.
that anything that's typed out isn't forever.
Yeah.
And like my thought is like, God damn, we're going to be in a place where we're going to have to you're going to have to kick it old school if you're talking about.
Yeah, you're going to have to smoke signal something.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna or pick up the phone and actually have a conversation. You're
Yeah.
going to have voice only conversation because there's no
Carrier
subpoena now.
pigeon is the way
Fucking
to
A,
do it.
right?
Carrier pigeon.
It started though. It
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.